name is Joseph Whitson, and I'm an Interdisciplinary Doctoral Fellow here at the IAS. My home department is American Studies, where I'm finishing up my PhD looking at outdoor retail companies and their impact on American Indian tribes in the United States. So the IDF is a university-wide fellowship that is designed to promote interdisciplinary work between departments, between colleges at the University of Minnesota. So when you're looking to apply, you are working from your home department, so for me it was American Studies, and you need to connect with a faculty member or mentor from a different department. Someone who speaks to your work, someone who can work with you, but is coming from a different perspective, a different academic background, in order to bring just new perspective to your work, really create more dynamic scholarship. So in my case, I look at a lot of media. My background is in Indigenous studies here at the university and in American Studies and in kind of environmental humanities. But I'm looking at a lot of media. I'm looking at marketing. I'm looking at social media. I'm looking at kind of the ways that information is dispersed by these companies that I look at. So I wanted somebody who had more expertise in that. So I'm working, this year I worked with a professor, Colin Egger, from the School of Journalism. And so his background was in mobile technology and working in some of these areas and theories that I just didn't have the faculty to work with in my department or the background to work with. And so the IDF was an opportunity for me to take a full year, have no teaching responsibilities, have no other university responsibilities except to write and focus on this partnership and this interdisciplinary and this new aspect of my scholarship. This what am I trying to say? So the IDF was an opportunity for me to take my scholarship and really move it forward in ways that I hadn't been expecting to be able to do without the type of help and guidance from a faculty member outside of my department. So I'm wrapping up the drafting of my dissertation right now, hopefully this summer. Next year I'll be polishing it and applying for jobs in the fall. Ideally, I'll be applying within the academic market, but I also feel prepared to apply for other jobs outside of that. So I imagine that taking the bulk of my time. But the draft I have, I was able to do a couple chapters here at IAS, but they're in need of huge polishing, revision, all of these different things. I also envision doing, so part of my project is very digital. So I look at digital media, I look at digital marketing, I look at social media. And I also want to be able to have aspects of my project that have those digital pieces as well. And so as much as I've been kind of taking from this community of people involved in the outdoor world, I want to be able to take my scholarship and make it accessible in some way. So next year is also going to be part of brainstorming that. How can I create digital projects or digital aspects of this dissertation that are accessible and that are easy and free to get out to this type of community or other people who are interested. So I just completed my 5th year of my PhD program. I've got 1 year left. When I started this project, I had already completed most of the research that I was going to be doing for my project. So I had been doing a digital ethnography of the outdoor retail industry and of the outdoor community online, which is the digital aspect of it. So basically I had embedded myself in these online communities. Outdoor retailer, it's a conference, but it brings in influencers, it brings in companies, it brings in just kind of the everyday content creators, right? The people who are paid or not paid, but are invested in this type of outdoor activity community. So I've done a year of working with some of these companies, of working with these people in these digital communities. So I had the information, and I was in a writing stage. The IDF this year allowed me to it just moved the writing forward in certain ways, but it also, again, the interdisciplinary aspect was able to bring in some of these other theoretical lenses onto this research that I had, so onto the data that I had, onto the ideas that I already had, and move it in different ways. So this year, I was able to complete 2 full chapters of my dissertation, as well as an article that's currently under review in American Quarterly. So that's extremely productive for me. Trying to get writing done can be really difficult when you're teaching, when you're kind of committed to some of the other things that you have to do as a grad student in order to support yourself. So having the time to write and having the time to invest in this area of scholarship, the media side, the mobile technology side that I hadn't been able to, and put on data that I already had, not have to spend this time still doing the research, proved to be extremely productive for me. Yeah, so my IDF was with the IAS, the Institute of Advanced Studies. So as an IDF scholar, when you're applying, you can apply through any interdisciplinary organization on campus. So there's Institute of the Environment, there's the ICGC, there's some of these other institutions that are focused on specific things. IAS is pretty broad. It's the Humanities Center for the university, so it kind of focuses on that, but it brings in people from all over. One of the unique things about IAS that has been really interesting for me here that I knew coming in, but that it proved to be more useful than I maybe ever expected, was the other community of scholars. So all of these other interdisciplinary departments have space and they have other fellows, but I think IAS does a better job, or at least more focused on really creating a cohort of fellows and having other type of structure to share your work and to share ideas. For the IDF, which is focused on interdisciplinarity, this has been really useful because I not only have my faculty mentor, Colin from journalism, but I'm also working with a whole group of other fellows, mostly faculty, a few other IDF fellows, who are coming from all over the university and doing really interesting things. So having Tuesday lunches to be able to have somebody present on their work and hear what they're doing, having Thursdays where the IS brings in outside scholars to talk about their work from all different areas. It's interesting just from a personal level, but it's also really useful to be able to apply the lenses, apply the ways that they're looking at the world, that they're looking at their research to your own and say, hey, is this something that might work? Is this something that might be useful or interesting or new to my own scholarship? And maybe not. But regardless, it's been a really interesting community to be a part of. I think more so than if I had just been on a traditional fellowship where I had all this time to work and write, but didn't have the opportunity to be part of a larger community or be part of this larger space that we have here.